Okay, had to unplug her and replug it in. Sorry about that. We are back now. You'd think I'd learn, right? Okay, you can hear now, Mom, can't you? All right, so I wanted to jump on and do a quick countdown and seamlessly jump into all this, but we saw a ton of rain last night. I had over 4 inches at the house total from yesterday and today at 4 point, got to do the math quick. 4.09 inches of rain at my house. Now we have flood warnings going on over Avoyles Parish, and these warnings are in effect. Hold on, let me get the details for you. Let's see. I was obviously I was posting all night, so I'm a little off. I'm just now kind of waking up. Okay, that flood warning goes until noon. There we go. And I'll get you the text on that and everything here. We can talk about. Okay, Doppler radar indicated thunderstorms producing heavy rain across the warned area. Up to 3 inches have fallen already, and there's more on the way. More still falling there. So this includes. Let's go ahead and we're going to jump into the regular show here in just a second. But Marksville, obviously, Cottonport. This does include Bunkie and right down to the St. Landry Parish line there, and then up to Bruyette. And it looks like that actually just includes parts of Avoyles Parish here. I want to show you now the rainfall estimates. This is going to include not only this area, but the other areas as well around central Louisiana. Let's go ahead and take a look and see what we have on that. Let's see. Let's go with the last. We'll go last 24 hours first. And that really includes, kind of everything that's fallen for the most part here. We can go in and take a look at what these colors mean. Northeastern Rapides Parish around DeVille, 6 to 8 inches of rain up that way. This is estimates, not official. I heard some flooding reports from down around Cheneyville, and I've seen reports that are higher than what these actual rainfall estimates are. But 4, 5, 7, seen some areas up around 8 on those estimates. So this is a ton of rain that fell in a day here. Right at my house, the estimate was around 4 inches, so we can see how accurate that is, and 4.6. So it's running a little hot there, but some areas I know did see more than what we are seeing on these estimates. I actually saw one report of around 10 inches of rainfall, and we've seen those flooding reports all over the area. So it does look like more is on the way, but I think we are close to the end of this here. Let me go with the 3 hour, and that's why we have that flood warning right there. Just wanted to see if we have any. Okay, no big reports coming in through the chat there, but let's go ahead and see. This area right around Marksville, yeah, in the last 3 hours, if you're talking, 2 to 5 inches of rain in 3 hours, that's going to cause some flooding. Down here in Evangeline Parish, it looks like 2 to 3 inches of rain there from Ville Platte through Mamou. So we've seen a ton of rain overnight, heard that thunder rolling, and I kept waking up, and I would just kind of lay there because it was like the severe threat was really low. I had the phone in my hand and everything, and I'm looking at stuff, and there was weak rotation, just enough to keep me where I'm like, half asleep and looking at things. It was nothing strong. If anything happened, it was going to be very brief, and there wouldn't really be a major issue with that. But the flooding was the main problem. We are seeing that right there. So let's go ahead, get it back to radar, put this in motion. Heck, let's put it in motion. Let's go for a long loop here. Let's go 6 hours. And you can see what was keeping us up all night here across Rapides Parish. Those showers and thunderstorms just pumping over the same location, eventually kind of settling in here over Avoyles Parish over the last couple of hours. That lightning really popping up there, and we saw an increase in the intensity on those storms. Now, there are some models are showing a potential for a few more showers and storms to pop up across central Louisiana, including, Rapides, Grant, and Evangeline and Allen Parish a little later this morning into the afternoon. I'm not sure if we aren't totally worked over on that atmosphere yet, but we'll keep an eye on things closely. But as it stands right now, we have a flood warning in effect for a good chunk of Avoyles Parish, as you've seen 2 to 5 inches of rainfall in the last 3 hours. Yes, we have the. Sorry about the beginning with the sound. Yes, I fixed it quickly. I do need a nap today, Mom. I'm gonna get one. Starting to flood in some areas in Avoyles. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, to get that much rain that quickly, I know that's gonna cause some big problems. And it looks like, unfortunately, again, we'll go over the last hour, do this loop, and you can see that down to the southwest of this flood warning. And this is what we did in Rapides Parish overnight. This is what's going to come in right into that area that's seen the worst of the rain. And then it's going to come across eastern Avoyles as well. Hopefully it's a little more transient. Hopefully it's kind of moving along there. But it looks like every area that sees these storms is going to see them for a couple hours. And with rainfall rates, let's see if we just have instantaneous rates on this. let me see. Let's go with. Okay. I know where it is. Hold on. I'm sorry. There's so many products on all this stuff. Oh, goodness. I thought I knew where it was. All right, let's just go with the last hour. And yeah, you still see in 1 hour we have some 2-inch per hour rates there across Evangeline and Avoyelles Parish. So that kind of tells you the story on the rain. Lots of heavy rain falling across areas east of Alexandria, now Avoyelles Parish, parts of Evangeline, and northwestern St. Landry. And this is going to just slowly kind of nudge east, but we could see more storms build up back behind it. So let's dive into the regular show here. We'll take a look at radar once again at the end. There's Toledo Bend, just as tranquil as can be. We got some clouds out there, but hardly a wave on the water this morning here with very light wind. Looking out west from Alexandria, I tried to look east. You know how these cameras are, though. They're mounted. So when you spin it a certain way, there's going to have to be something blocking it. So while they are a 360 view, you don't get all 360 degrees of it. So we looked out west, and that's what we see. We see some clouds out there, but nothing that's building up right now that has me worried locally. We do have those showers and thunderstorms. There is a look at what's going on the radar on the national scale. That's the thunderstorms we were watching there over Avoyelles down into St. Landry and Evangeline Parish. And you can see it doesn't look like much, but when it's not moving, that's going to be your big problem right there. And for today, we do have the chance for some scattered storms. Once again, mid-70s, upper 70s. We could hit 80 in some spots depending on how much sunshine you see. And it's really humid out there, really kind of nasty feeling. So why is there no wave action on Toledo Bend? There's hardly any wind. They are kind of behind where that front is. Now, that front actually looks like it's going to pull up stationary, as we've seen here, across the area. So that is going to create, again, some more storms through the first half of the day, probably into the early afternoon, possibly as far west as Alexandria once again. And then things do calm down, and we will talk about that good news here in just a second. I have more good news on the tropics as well. No severe risk in the area. Could we see a severe storm? Of course, we could see 1 or 2 out of this with that band to the east. But so far, we have not seen severe warnings overnight. Trust me, I was up looking. Here's Futurecast. This is going to more eloquently say it than I do. So there you go. Thunderstorms to the east. They try to build back to the west, especially in the southern half of the area. That was quick. Let's go ahead and take a look at it again because, again, there are no rules here at Cenla Weather. Well, there are some rules. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to take you through it slowly. You see how that kind of back builds across the area. Now, personally, I think that stuff over Avoyelles is going to hold together. We could see some more building back to the west, but I really think the worst of this is going to be in the eastern part of the area for today. And then looking further into the future, we go out there and we just kind of take you through it. We don't see much going on there for Thursday. And then I know Friday we have that big Ash football game, and we'll talk about that here as we get toward the 7-day. First off, let's take a look. Raphael. 110-mile-per-hour storm. So that's scary, right? Well, yeah, it's not good for Grand Cayman and Cuba and all that stuff. As I put this into motion, though, you can see what happens here. This thing, we had this coming right up toward Louisiana, and look at what happens there. I mean, that's weird, isn't it? So when you see, one model splitting that way, the others diving that way, and I'll show you more on this in just a second, how this has changed the forecast path. What this shows me is wind shear is going to destroy this. So we're not looking at a Louisiana landfall. This thing yesterday when we were looking at it looked like it was going to be a real close call. Check this out, though. We have an eye showing up on this. This thing is at 110 at last check. Let me check, though, because this system is really, really looking nasty right now. Yeah, still 110. That's as of the 9 o'clock advisory, so nothing has changed there. That's the latest one. But that's Raphael right there. That's the Isle of Youth in Cuba. That is Cuba, the big island right there. And this is going to continue on toward the northwest. It's going to enter the Gulf and look really scary. But then we're going to show you the official forecast track from the National Hurricane Center that does take this up, impacts folks there in Cuba as a major Cat 3 hurricane, then kind of turns west and it stays further south. So by 6 a.m. Friday, this thing's still a Category 2 hurricane. But watch when that trough, when that dry air, when that wind shear hits it, it goes to a Cat 1, and then it goes down to a tropical storm, and then it kind of meanders out here. We're down to 40 miles per hour and probably not looking at much by the time we get into early Monday. We're out of the cone. Most of the coast of Louisiana is out of the cone. We were never concerned for local impacts, but to see this come out here over the Gulf of Mexico, kind of do that dance and get destroyed by shear, that's good because that means no one along the Gulf Coast gets hit. Of course, we don't like seeing anyone get hit, and it looks like a major hurricane will be impacting parts of Cuba there. But for the lower 48 here, for the Gulf Coast, we aren't going to see that. Now, this rainfall actually started at 7 o'clock today, so this is going to be impacted by that. We have that heavier stripe with what was already happening. So we're still going to see a pretty decent rain, but I think it's going to be more like 1 to 2 inches over the next 7 days as opposed to this heavier area right here. That being said, the area of Avoyelles Parish that isn't included in this is a larger look at things. They are going to see more than you see here. So the general idea is beyond what we see today. We do have more rain in the forecast, and yeah, I think the burn bans are going to be going away real quick. Here's a look at your 7-day forecast. Good chance for rain today. That's especially going to be east of Highway 167. So if you are in that area, your chance is a little higher than out west. Tomorrow looks good. Friday, I think we're okay for most of the day. Got that Ash football game with Neville coming in, and it's going to be a close call, but I want you to get out there and scream and yell and support and have fun. It's a big game for them. And as it stands right now, it looks like scattered rain could be in the area. I'm talking to Coach. Don't worry. We're going to figure this out and try to get the best scenario for you on this. Saturday, it looks like we have some storms coming in the area with more on Sunday as well. Then we clear things out for a couple of days, but I actually think another system comes in behind that. So, yes, we are into the active season here, and thankfully that's not the active tropical season. November 14th to the 20th here, we're getting close on up toward Thanksgiving. Well, I guess we're still like a week away from it there, but we have above normal precip in the forecast with temperatures above normal. I don't see a big cool down yet, and I wish I would have loaded it up. My brother's out in Denver, and he said they had like 3 or 4 inches of snow, and he had a picture from his windshield as they're looking out there and seeing all that good stuff. I would take 3 or 4 inches of snow, any day of the week over what we're seeing right now. So yeah, flooding here. Where's here, Johnny? Is that Avoyelles? Downpour in Poland? Yep, I'll bet you. Yeah, the rain train in McNary, Little Bayou Clear and Woodworth acting up. Yeah, we have that flood warning, and I did promise we'd go back to the radar, which I could just sit here and talk about this stuff all day. So let's do it. Let's go ahead and take a look at radar, put that in motion, and you can see where that flood warning is right now, mainly over the western half of Avoyelles Parish. It includes Marksville and Bunkie, and there's more storms that are coming up. You can see that's going to start to edge just to the east of of that watch area. Thanks, Johnny. 7+ inches, Big Creek, Rapides, Avoyelles line. Yeah, this one really went after it here. And again, if you missed this, we'll take a look at the accumulation over the last 24 hours. This is going to be from the radar site out here, Fort Johnson radar site. Most of Rapides Parish has seen some pretty heavy rain. Let's go ahead, though, and show you the difference here and why weather forecasting is hard, but you knew that. 0.3 inches out near Boyce. So let's see. I was going to say Robert Duncan, you might have missed it out at your farm, but you got about 1.5, something like that. Let's see, up toward Yerby's farm there in, what's it called? Toro, I think is what it is. That's what I have it on the radar. I look at it from the ag perspective here, 1.7 there. But then we get out here toward DeVille. I don't know whose farm's out there, but 7.5, 6 inches, 6.2. These are estimates, but it gives you a good idea of what's going on and then where we are seeing the worst of that right now. Let's take a look. Last 3 hours, that's where we have this warning here for Avoyelles Parish for 2 to 5 inches of rain that has fallen up into southern LaSalle and Catahoula Parish, seeing some heavy rain, and then down toward Cheneyville, Bunkie, and Ville Platte, Mamou, that area. We've seen 2 to 3 additional inches of rain. And I'll be watching this. At some point, I am taking a nap because I was up most of the night watching this as well, even though it wasn't some sort of big severe outbreak. That's the joy of doing this full time. You don't get to sleep when it's active. And sometimes that can be an adrenaline rush, and sometimes you're just watching it rain. All right, I'm going to get out of here. Have a wonderful Wednesday, I believe it is. I will see you back here tomorrow. Hopefully no warnings and no more flood warnings for today, but if we do see more, I will hop on and let you know what's going on. I'll see you later.